I will say that I could probably show you a dozen people that he's highly, highly, highly influenced. You know what I mean? It's almost a whole genre.
I ask almost every artist this that I've interviewed. What's your take on Jean-Michel Basquiat
Jean Michel.
on his work?
Yeah, on his work, I mean, I love it. I think it's great. Um, I just think he was super smart. Again, we chatted earlier. I watch Radiant Child 100 times. I watch it. It is my thing to watch to pump me up to paint, if there were something. And I think it's just more of like who he was as a person. And I resonate a lot with that, you know. So for me, I think it's amazing. I think he was great. And I think that, you know, it was, though it is, we, as a black artist, if you're, if you're not liking Jean Michel, it's kind of a little strange.
Well, I've interviewed not many people who didn't really like the work. I think some people were like they connected to the story,
Right.
the Radiant Child, the documentary. Some people were like the work was cool. A few people didn't like it, but I think with me and him, I love the story.
Right.
The art when I initially started seeing it, I loved it because I was like, wow, it doesn't seem intimidating.
Right.
Um, but the thing that I didn't take to it so much was I felt like I never got to see and this has changed
Sure.
since. And so my opinion and my perspective on art is, you know, I appreciate it for what it is. But I always felt like I was never able to see um, black artists that were really that focused on technique.
Right.
And I didn't realize that a lot of artists they'll learn the technical aspects of art, and then they may they may say, "Well, I don't want to draw people
Right.
or shapes," and
Exactly.
they'll say, I want to do something more." You
Sure.
know, expression is like I want to express myself more than capture something real.
Right.
So I felt like it was important to see like a black version of uh I don't know. Um the names escape me, but
Sure.
like when I see a Kehinde Wiley, I say this guy is
Right. Right.
focused on more realism.
Sure.
So that's why I ask about the work because I want to know
Yeah.
where people lean when they, you know, like how they feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, the work was just so. I mean, any work that you can look at, you know, 20, 30 years and still there's like, you still, there's so much more to learn. Because that's the idea is, you know, the art of it, the pictures are like, so there's a I'm a little on the fence about, I'm a process person. So like that comes with a story, how you got there, how you were able to upkeep doing that, because even if you have an education, a lot of people, it's tough. It's a tough industry, a tough field. Um, but I just think the intellect for him was just what I resonate the most. Just the want to like know the information. If you hear anyone talk about him, he's just like, you know, reading a book while painting with the TV on, you know, multi-sensory. And at like 17, this is a teenager that had these thoughts, you know. It's like that was, not only was he the like first to really like black artist to like kind of mainstream the art world, but he was like the one of the first guys to really have this artistic outspoken way that he expressed himself in a modern time where you didn't hear black people speak like that. And for me, it resonated so much because where I grew up, you know, it was like I told you, it was a very niche kind of place. So for me, as a creative, having these thoughts when I was younger and stuff, you felt a little like it felt kind of crazy. You almost felt like you weren't supposed to have those thoughts because even your black community, your family and stuff, they weren't understanding of it. So you really, it was difficult to like, as like somebody of my, what I was going through. So to see him as a young person, I'm like, wow, he like, so it's like that inspiration was like the leading foot for me and just the knowledge that he had, versus like just the painting or how he lived his life, for instance. But just seeing someone like me that wanted to get the knowledge and that was taking it in so effortlessly. Everyone always talks about how smart he was. I mean, that's just so cool to me, more than the work and more than, again, who he was, his social life or anything.
In my opinion, like him or not, like the work or not, I think that he is so many people's introduction into art.
Oh yeah,
Um, I think that alone is priceless.
sure. I mean, I can, I'm not one to say anything or try and talk down on anyone, but I will say that I could probably show you a dozen people that he's highly, highly, highly influenced. You know what I mean? It's almost a whole genre of a style of this art from him. Like no one made work like that before.